there. My name is Colleen Adrian, and I am a parent educator and mentor. And I'm here to talk with you today about connected parenting and sarcasm. So when we're trying to build a connected relationship with our child or teen, it's really important to avoid using sarcasm. Sarcasm is typically something that we do when we're guarding vulnerability or tender feelings that we have inside of ourselves. And it's the opposite of attuning or connecting. Most of us, when we do it, it may be something that your family used as a form of humor when you were growing up. And often for little kids, if their family uses it, it starts out that maybe they do have some tender feelings around something that's happened. And then as the family uses sarcasm, they learn to kind of guard and cover those feelings as opposed to being really vulnerable with them, which is why it blocks connection. So we do often do it with the intention of humor. And while there may be some occasions in adult relationships where it can be funny for both adults, typically it's a type of humor that kind of takes the other person down a notch. And that's the reason that it's not appropriate with kids, because really we want to be lifting our kids up, right? So adults who both have a good self-esteem may be able to take it. And that's discussion is beyond the scope of this video. But for kids, it's never appropriate because sarcasm is by its nature kind of cutting and critical, right? That's kind of the nature of that type of humor. And so as such, it creates a climate or an environment of unsafety, right? So people know when there's sarcasm around that they kind of need to be on guard, or they're going to be kind of the next one who's the target of the sarcastic remarks. And for kids, that just feels too vulnerable. So when children are really little, basically they just won't understand it because they're really literal. And then as they get a little bit older, they'll start to figure it out and they'll start to understand it, but they'll also learn that they need to be on guard because they don't want to be the target. And an example might be your child kind of makes a mistake or missteps. And often as parents, I mean, I've caught myself, either doing this gently when my son was little and I didn't realize, or being tempted to do it. You see something and it's maybe they've made a mistake that just seems really obvious to you. And it might be tempting to say something like, oh, that was clever, instead of saying, hey, it looks like something that happened there wasn't really what you expected, or something a little bit more direct. So they start to learn that if they've made a mistake, they need to kind of guard and they need to hide it or keep it inside. And that in that way, it can also cause kids to feel ashamed, especially if there's other things going on, in the environment or the family that might affect their self-esteem. And when they get a little bit older, they learn to really recognize it and guard, as I've already said. So if you catch yourself being sarcastic, or if you recognize you've been doing this, please be so gentle with yourself, because you will have learned this in your family of origin. And I know you won't have been doing it on purpose to do something that makes your child feel vulnerable. And it's a habit that can be, well, I'm just going to say fairly easily changed. It is simple, but sometimes it's not that easy because we have to catch ourselves first, but you just need to bring some awareness to it. So be so gentle with yourselves, and know that you have some probably tender, vulnerable feelings as well that you had to guard from a much younger age. And so please give yourself that loving kindness. And then with your kids, please just practice being a little bit more direct. So attuning to where they might be at if they made a mistake, for example. Are they feeling bad about it? Are they needing a little support to learn how to do it differently next time? So just attune and really deal with it directly, what their emotional and physical needs are. So that's all I have to say about that today. Thanks for tuning in and listening. And if you want to know, if you want to find more tips, check out my website or some of my social media feeds. The links are below. Thanks. And I look forward to I look forward to seeing you next time.